What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
When you hear the word Jamaica, what do you think of?
Reggae?
White sand beaches,
Guan guan.
hot sun, cool drinks and jerk chicken?
Axel.
When I hear the word Jamaica, I think of the place that my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents called home. I think of family, friends, and my community. But I also think of violence, inequality, and poverty. Most importantly, I think of the people. And that is what this project is about, Jamaican people. And the barriers that have been put in place over hundreds of years that advantage some and disadvantage many. This film is about the presence of a color bias on an island where the majority of people are black and of African descent. This film is From Colonization to Cake Soap, Colorism in Jamaican Society.
Hope it must have got copyrighted. Oh. I didn't even know anything. Oh. Okay. Okay, before we get into this, I remember we had a debate that we watched on the channel. It was a while ago.
Okay.
And the colorism topic came up. And I remember saying that I knew of this happening in the black community, but I never dealt with it myself to really give like a firm stance on it.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I was very darker than what I am now today. Yeah. You know, and just always having parents who, I guess they gassed me up. It made me so confident because I have a mom who's light skinned and a dad who is dark.
Yeah.
Put them together, you get me. And I guess I've never looked at I never looked down on anyone's skin tone.
Yeah. You
know, because at the end of the day, we all black. You know?
Facts. I'm the same. I never looked at no one's skin and thought any other way when it came to like just tone wise to say, oh, this person, for instance, like, well, I can't even say that because that would be more of a woman type of thing.
What about girls? What about girls in school?
What you mean? Like,
did you have any friends who, you know, call girls ugly names?
Yes.
Like darker girls.
Yes, darker girls did get a bad. Yes, darker girls did get a bad rap. At my school, from what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, me, I don't recall that. Maybe I just wasn't a part of those groups. Like, I knew of it happening, but not in close proximity to me.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Wow. Sad thing, man. Sad thing.
Cover the true meaning and origins of the word colorism and its presence in Jamaica, I set out on a journey to interview friends and relatives and to get to understand how they saw the term as it applied to Jamaican society.
For myself, it is using color as a basis of discrimination. And so it is using that vehicle to make decisions on the worth of someone.
Colorism for me is the activation in someone's mind that the shade of one's skin matters for whatever reason in a particular instance. If it is that the shade of your skin doesn't matter, then I don't think you're exercising colorism because you don't see color. So it's the whole activation. Once it is a determinant factor for anything, that is colorism.
Once I had a working definition of the term colorism, I wondered, where had this bias originated from? What was the historic significance of this presence of light skin over dark? So I set out to talk to someone who I thought just might have the answer.
Well, it all goes back to slavery. once slavery existed, and one of the reasons why it existed
In the house and the
was
field.
because it was easy to identify black people, so that you didn't have to be scratching your head and trying to figure out if somebody was a slave or not, or a free man or not. I mean, you automatically assume that a black person is a slave, and it's his responsibility to persuade you that he's not, if he's not.
During slavery, where a white and an African came together and had a child, that's a mulatto. And that child had a special privilege and would not necessarily be enslaved.
Mulatto also was on the birth certificate, if I wasn't mistaken. So I don't think a lot of people know that. Like, it was Negro as well, but it was also mulatto.
Yeah, but mulatto, you know, when you had mixtures and in our what I'm trying to say, in our society, they also had, you know, we had a big society of free people of color. So they had like the quadroons, like they had different things, Lord.
Yeah.
Quadroons, and when I looked at that history, there was even some people who would write a certain right to the king or something like that, and he would grant them a white status, like if they wanted it. Like,
they could have passed for white, basically.
Was so crazy.
They could have passed for white. Yeah.
So a lot of African Jamaican slave women sought out white men to be the father of their children because they didn't want to condemn their children to poverty or to the lower status. And then if a mulatto person had a child for an African Jamaican person, that child is called a Sambu. So a Sambu like is not black. So in the stratification would be the white at the top, mulatto there, Sambu there, and at the bottom it would always be African black people in Jamaica.
The class.
Yeah.
Without slavery, we would not have had quote unquote colorism as we know it in the New World.
Nah, the sugar cane. I remember we talked about that.
Oh. Wow. Wow. That's sad. I don't think you pressed it.
I think I did. Yeah, I don't miss. I don't miss.
This knowledge left me wondering how this bias has impacted people, both on the island and in the communities of the Jamaican diaspora. So I asked around to see if there was anyone who had a few stories that they would be willing to share.
So in my family of 11 children, virtually half of us have come to be light and half dark skinned. So my father, it's kind of awful for me to say this, practiced racism in the home. He would, I recall, you know, so many instances, but there's a particular instance in which he put me on his lap and he rubbed my head and say, son, you're going to have to cut this hair very low and oil it and brush it if you want to reach anywhere in Jamaica.
Because in my family, I have...
Okay, so now I do know of instances, and this is in, you know, I wouldn't say close family members, but this is in my family. There would be the elders in the family, the elder women in the family who would, like, look down on the darker children.
Yeah.
You know, and like, call them names, like little black, you know, derogatory words and things like that. So you don't realize how that stuff can affect a child.
Yeah, 100%.
And like I said, I was darker as a child, but nobody called me anything like that.
Yeah. So that's what it do though. Like, the history drips down over to the next generation, and oftentimes those parents who are very close to that exiting of that type of history still has that trauma. You know what I'm saying? And they operate off of that. So a lot of times it's not that they're operating off of hate, they're operating off of what they were just taught. Yeah. And that's all they were ever taught. You know what I'm saying? So they can't unsee a lot of things. And you know how they say older people are
stuck in their
stubborn
ways.
and they're stuck in their ways. So most of the times that's what it is, and they kind of damage those babies.
Yeah, that's sad. Like
Yeah.
that's stuff that you just know goes on, and you don't realize it until you hear something like that. And you're like, oh, okay, I remember this.
And then they also say that the darker sibling is always the black sheep, which is not true. That's the farthest lie that you can put out there in any household about a child who is the darkest one. That child is not the black sheep of the family.
Right.
I have from the light right down to the darkest of the darkest. All right, and when the white skin is around, my grandparents treat them different from the way they treat us, right? They, for instance, I'll give you an example. They'll come down and they'll take out those china wares, nice china wares, and that's what go on the table, right? When they are not there, you don't see china ware, right? They just keep them in the safe, right? When they come, like for instance with me, they want me to do things for them, and they are like a demanding set of people because of their color, and they figure they can't even give you a reward of even thank you, right? And then if you go to where they live in Kingston, right, it's like you're not welcome, right? They don't invite you inside. They'll come outside to the door and talk to you hi or so, and then you're gone, right?
When I left high school and decided I wanted to go to college, I didn't have the money, my parents. I decided to work with the airline called Air Jamaica. And to do an interview to work in Air Jamaica in 1974, I had to send them a colored photograph of myself in the application. And I was not naive. I knew what that was about. So when I got the job, I got a front desk job in the cargo section, not in the normal passenger section. And when I checked the qualifications of the people who were in the passenger section of the airline, meeting the regular passengers, their qualification was not as good as mine. But I was put way on the back of the airport in the cargo section.
But
All
I
because of
found
your
that
skin.
it was not just brown-skinned
crazy.
people who had experiences with color. Speaking with many of my lighter-skinned relatives, I began to understand the complexities of this issue.
Like you do when we were young.
Okay.
So I was watching a video. It was on Oprah, and this gentleman did a test where he put on a mask as a white man, and then he would go into the city. And as he was in the city, he flagged the gentleman down in a car to get instruction. He wrote his window down, and he said he gave him instructions to the T, where to go, how to get there, this and the third, whatever you need, he was there to help him with. He walked inside this building, and he walked past a black gentleman who was at the front desk, walked straight past him, walked into the hotel building, and he didn't say nothing to him. Then he came back as himself. He tried to flag somebody down. They didn't open the door for him. They didn't put the window down for him. He walked, and just to speed it up, he walked into the hotel room. The gentleman at the front desk was like, I can't let you in. I got to know who you're here to see. I got to know what you're here for. You know what I'm saying? It's like the stereotype instantly hits because of our skin color. And that's just sad stuff, boy. That's some sad stuff.
Crazy. It's the remnants of slavery is not just still in our laws. Now, I don't know about Jamaica laws and stuff, but it's not still here in our laws, but it's still here in the way we think about things. And it's like you got to check a lot of things that you say.
Yeah,
you know how,
facts. I like that. Yeah.
How, like, there's, like, little sayings, like, okay, one, for instance, just one that on top of my, head. Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. You know, we'll repeat that because we heard it so much without even checking the history of it.
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
So it's like things like that. We think of things, we say things, we behave certain ways because it was passed down, and we got to start checking a lot of that stuff while we think that way.
We deem it as normal without really knowing you got to know history. You know what I'm saying? Without knowing one two about it, because oftentimes, We ain't gonna dive into it.
Wait, before I say this,
That's just
because
some
my mom,
crazy stuff, man. That's some
my
crazy
mom
stuff.
is this color right here, and I'm
Shout out
just
to Mom
so
D.
happy that my mom was not one of those people who, because all her children don't. Nobody is light skinned. I'm just happy that she wasn't one of those people who like pit us against each other for the color of our skin.
Yeah, facts.
Because there's some moms who do that.
Yeah.
And
there's a beautiful child, and this child is not so much beautiful. Or yeah, they do that 100%. Yeah.
That is not the case at all. But they on the flip side, it's interesting. When I was about 10, 11, we lived a little bit outside of Kingston in past a village that was mainly made up of darker skinned people. And I recall, driving through, like being driven through or walking through with my cousins through that village and being laughed at and kind of mocked for being light skinned, being called red nigger and, these kinds of terms that they use. So it's funny, the discrimination was sort of reverse, to what you would normally assume it to be.
Well, I think the shade of your skin definitely was the most prominent situation by which you were judged. Class was also a big issue. Where you lived definitely was. Not necessarily where your parents are from, but I think education played a big role in the way you were treated. And unfortunately, for some of the darker skinned individuals who never got a chance to go to school and learn proper English or just general topics in common, the lighter skinned individuals were given way more opportunities to better themselves. And that was the yardstick by which they were measured.
If I had an experience, I think the first time for me maybe was in high school, and in my last years of high school mainly. And again, that thing with, I had friends at school, and I remember one girl that I was quite friendly with, and we did a lot together, but it was only at school. Never went to her home or anything. And yet still in later years, that went away. So, yeah.
Wow. That is...
So y'all guys was refrain from like actually speaking to one another. I'm talking about like really just sitting at the table, really vibing with one another, like getting to know one another, like because it was in your mindset that deep that the color of your skin was the distinctive between the two people.
Wow. I didn't know any, and it's crazy because on that debate video, I believe it was one of our Jamaican supporters. I think, yeah, it was either that or on a live stream. One of our favorite Jamaican supporters, Mario, he was telling us about the colorism issue.
Yeah,
and it
I
was like
remember
a
that.
long conversation that we were having. And I didn't realize Jamaican society dealt with that, because I know
Right.
here, after the Great Migration, when the second wave of the Great Migration, one of the waves of the Great Migration, I was watching a video of black people in California. They didn't want, black people from the South to move to California because they were afraid of, they felt that they had built a good life for themselves, and they didn't want to that integrate. So that was like a class issue. That wasn't, colorism issue. It was a class issue.
You finished? I'm sorry.
We still do deal with class issues here.
Yeah, we do.
Us.
And it's not just that, it's because of how they have said we are. Like, they say we live dirty. They say we're disgusting people, we're thieves. And oftentimes when too many people, black people in general, go into a certain neighborhood, it's like everyone else just probably start to leave, if I can say, right? Because the value and everything, they start to bring it down, and they don't want to have certain classes have access to certain wealth, right? It's deep and that's some sad, crazy stuff, y'all. If you're black around the world, I feel like we all have dealt with a level of colorism.
Yeah, but it's
that's
like
what it is.
How her quote in the beginning about when did the light-skinned middle class take the part of the oppressors? And that's kind of like what the class issues here has created.
That's heavy.
You know, but on a mainstream level like that, like not intermingling with each other, I don't. And I study our history a lot. I haven't seen that here, other than with free people of color. Other than that time,
yeah, they stayed to themselves. They already knew the reason why, though.
But they did help. You know.
Yeah.
That's a complex issue.
It is very so. Yeah, I know what you're saying, though.
But thought, rather, that class was what truly separated the countries. Unlike the color divide, the class divide in Jamaica is spoken about regularly and acknowledged just like any other part of society.
There is a certain amount of color prejudice too, I'm sure, but class prejudice is really what we are more subject to.
It was more a class thing than the color of your skin, because if you were white and you were of a certain class that they think wasn't up to mark, the white people wouldn't associate with you. But if you were black and you were like a doctor's daughter or a lawyer's daughter and you had good education, they appreciated that. So it was more of a class thing than a colored thing.
Well, I think in a broader sense, class and culture are certainly things that define people and define individuals. If you look at arranged marriages, generally marriages are arranged between people of similar class or similar strata or similar backgrounds or similar interests. So class definitely plays a defining role in a lot of society. Culture, of course, is also huge. How color impacts on that, I think depends on the society that you're in. Color has a much greater impact in different societies than in others.
Well, at school or wherever there are public functions, it doesn't really matter whether you're white or you're black. They all get on very well. But it depends on your financial or economic status that really separates you. Because at the end of the day, we go to different areas and it is usually according to your economic standing. So there is definitely a class divide.
So what if everybody, and I know this is not how times are today, I feel like it's not in your face like how it was back then. But what if everything was the dress code in the streets, right? Nobody was able to wear a certain level, a certain height of jewelry to a certain standard of, I can't afford it. Like, you had to put it on around this niche, and everybody was to coexist like that. Who would be your friends then? How would you be able to classify a person by their financial wealth?
See,
and their class that they're in, because you could be talking to a whole millionaire,
right,
and he don't even have on the millionaire gear. You know what I'm saying?
Because millionaires be wearing the same
thing. They keep it chill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's I was gonna say something, but anyway, that's why here it's all about how you carry yourself. You know, you could be a person who carry yourself really well, and you could be going home to the projects and nobody will ever know.
Facts. Or you could be like a person that's in like a really bomb college, but because it's so expensive, you try to keep everything, you know, you're trying to maintain tuition and paying these books and all that, so you can't afford all this other stuff. And you just, you know, mingling with people, and people have no idea.
Right. And it's like everybody here is, no, because we do have, you know, high society things. But for the general part, it's a class issue here.
Yeah.
It's nothing about color. No.
Yeah.
I think people deal with colorism the most like when they're in school, like grade school.
Yeah, that's the freebies, man. They're not really thinking about it.
But like when you're adults, like certain groups, but it's not like mainstream issue. Well,
nah,
when you come to the marketing stuff, I think they have gotten better.
Yeah.
In the recent years, but
Okay.
not a color divide as such. Pretty harmonious country. As a matter of fact, our motto, which you will see on our currency, says, out of many, one people.
Racism?
In Trinidad, no.
Oh.
When I went there,
Wait, I must have missed what she said. Hold on.
And connected this treatment to a bias based on the color of their skin.
Okay.
In Trinidad, no. When I went there the first time, I remember going into a store to buy a bit of fabric, and it was an embroidered material. I took it up and was looking at it, and a white woman came in and she didn't say excuse, she just pulled it from me because she wanted to see it too. And I just left it. I didn't bother with her. And when the clerk came around, she said to me, "Don't bother, you'll have to put up with a lot of things like that here."
It's strange. I mean, I'm sure that in various times. Okay, so I had a job in the bank at one point. I worked in the Ministry of Agriculture. I was a teacher.
Trinidad. A lady took. Okay, maybe it could have been like in the past. You know,
Yeah, that's how
she was
I think that's what she's talking about. They all talking about their experiences.
Okay.
This is some time ago.
Yeah. Because y'all know
Yeah.
Trinidad is on the list, top list.
Yeah.
You know, Jamaica and Trinidad, y'all, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is where we want to go in the Caribbean. I'm picturing myself as Sierra. Y'all know I be trying to put myself in a lot of these scenarios. Somebody grab stuff from me, Lord. Yeah, we got to get on the plane immediately before we get deported.
We're going to keep playing this video before you say something crazy.
Oh, look,
I taught all different kids. I taught boys mostly at George's. And they were white, they were brown, they were black, but they were all brilliant. Because to get into St. George's, you had to have you had to pass the exam at a high level, the common entrance at a high level, right? And I found that they were very affectionate, and they were rude and whatever. It was fine. But there wasn't a color thing. I feel the color thing coming to Canada. As a 17-year-old coming to Canada, I remember one day going to the pharmacy, and there was a long line of us at the pharmacy to pay for something. And when I got to the cashier, the girl walked away from the cash. I thought this was so strange. So the owner of the thing told her to get back there and look after me, and she was behaved really bad. Anyway, I went home, I went to Uncle Junior, and I told Uncle Junior, you know, I had a funny experience today, you know. He said, so what happened? I said, you know, this one was treating me like a Rasta, you know, like how they treat us as Rastas. Uncle Junior started to laugh. Rasta? Rasta? He said, Jojo, they don't know about no Rasta in Canada. It's black, you're black.
Black is black.
Oh,
we told y'all
that's
that.
what it is.
We told y'all that.
So living in Nova Scotia, that was another place where you became very cognizant of being black and being discriminated against because of black.
As she just alluded to, there was a particular way in which Rastafarians were and still are regarded in Jamaica. Historically, they were seen as part of a lower class and were therefore treated very badly in comparison with middle and upper class Jamaicans. This had to do with a perception on the part of non-Rastafarians that the Rastas were not clean-cut enough for their schools, their businesses, and their communities.
I was the person, who, as an attorney, who got a lost child to go into a public school. A lost child in Jamaica could not go into a public school in the 70s.
Whoa.
It was not until the 80s where I did that case in Camperdown, argued by my friend, who is a Rastafarian attorney, that Rastafarian children were allowed into schools.
I found that there truly was a wide range of perspectives on colorism, even between people who grew up within a few miles of each other. Noting this range of opinions and experience, I decided to shift the conversation slightly and ask about a much more prominent issue affecting Jamaica's youth today: the practice of skin bleaching.
When you be like it. This is what them songs are like, bro. You been away for a while, man. Let me tell you what the streets talking about. Put a song on like that. I'm like, yo, they bleaching out here?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, real talk. They like the music be really complimenting what's happening around there in the community. Oftentimes, that's what it mostly do.
It's not supposed to have empty lyrics and just saying
empty
blah blah blah.
lyrics is crazy. That cup, it had nothing in it.
Yeah. But I like it. He said, "Girl, me honor you."
Yeah,
Y'all know we love us some reggae.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we know all the oldies. I don't think we know the new songs. We know the oldies.
It's crazy. It's totally crazy. I mean, I have somebody even, the environment that I work, I have people who work in the haulage industry, and you have people that assist on the trucks, quote unquote, delivery guys. And there's one individual who he bleached his entire face, and I asked him, why is he doing it? He says, oh, mommy doing it and my sister them doing it. Somebody doesn't want to look like them too. And I'm saying, but for what? And it took me a while to convince him that this is not the right way to do it. You can't destroy God's beautiful skin that he has given you to try to prove a point to your siblings, your parents, and also society. It doesn't work. But I guess you can't tell them because this is how they feel that they can be accepted. You know, so it's a bad situation. What is happening here now? Worse in Jamaica. I mean, if you Google bleach in Jamaica, it's the first thing you see.
What surprises me is not that people feel pressured to bleach their skin if their relatives are doing it, but that a large segment of the Jamaican population chooses to bleach their skin under the advice and support of dancehall artists, one of whom, Vybz Kartel, is said to be the Don.
Before I go into the lecture, I'd like to ask anyone from the audience to answer this question. Who is Vybz Kartel? Who is Vybz Kartel?
Vybz Kartel is the most influential and popular DJ in Jamaica. He sings a lot of rotten stuff, a lot of gory sexual things in his lyrics. However, he has lightened his skin and has built up a following of bleachers.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry if you had something to say, but that's crazy. And that's what happens with these artists is they be so impactful to their audience that their audience pick up the same habits.
Yeah.
Do the same things they're doing, that individual's doing, and they live their life like that.
People don't realize you have a responsibility when you have any amount of following behind you. You could say something and people will take that to heart. Good and bad. So you gotta really, that's a responsibility that everyone shouldn't have. But what I was gonna say, did I understand the lyrics wrong earlier? Like he was talking about bleaching the skin, and then at the end he was like, "Don't bleach, I honor you," right?
I don't believe.
Oh, okay.
I'm not clear.
Oh, I thought
I wasn't clear on it.
I thought he was saying, "I honor you, don't bleach your skin." If I was wrong,
to play
it back. Yeah. Just let me know. Never mind.
Oh, man.
Which is very interesting for me. So that, yes, it's on the uprise, and like bleaching your skin is, I would say in the ghetto, as I said before, more than 50% of young people, male and female, are lightening their skin and think they're very pretty when they lighten their skin. And that demonstrates to you the depth of the problem.
I think it was sometime in the early 2000s, I realized, you knew people bleach, but it was that shame attached to it, but no, it's like shameless. It's like, oh, I have to wear this right now because I'm bleaching. Or you see them in the lane, they're bleaching. Or, you know, so it's just become this whole acceptance. And of course, you know, our mentors, like dancehall artists, are the ones who are promoting it and pushing it, so it further validates it. And I genuinely believe that if they're lighter skin, that people would find them more attractive, the people who they're trying to attract. I guess the people who matter in their lives. I guess not employers, but you know, lovers or the people around them. I guess if when they bleach, that they feel like it makes them more attractive, so they're really investing in it.
People run down it. An artist also have to say one stupid thing, and they all follow behind what they say. I think they're more going towards what they say than even their own Bible itself. If I can.
Ooh, even the own word itself.
My thing is
heavy.
That's not even a thought. I have never. I think the first time that I was like really, really aware that a lot of people bleached was last year.
I think we had a conversation here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we dove into it.
Yeah, that's not even a thought. 'Cause a chemical on my skin, I don't even like medicine like that. I'm a holistic medicine person.
I feel you 100%.
So,
yeah, and some people, I think they put like these skin products on their face, and sometimes not knowing that it's actually doing that to them.
oh, I make sure I read.
You know what I'm saying?
every
Some people actually thinking their skin is more like, oh, it's more plush now, it's more pretty, it's more glass-like, but the products and the chemicals inside of it is actually, you know, taking away your pigment.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I'm gonna keep my comments. I'm gonna keep my comments.
There's some viral products right now that's going viral, and like you gotta research everything. Don't just hop on it because it's a trend. Oh, we got rid of this, baby. How did they get rid of it? Look at them ingredients.
Backyard, grab some of that aloe vera.
I make sure to read every last ingredient.
Use a term or reasonability. You know, artist says, you know, fire burn something or bleach your skin, or you have, if you want to look good, you have to do this.
No.
So they have a high influence on the society right now.
I did a commercial the other day with this 18-year-old, and we had to go there to the voiceover, and I was like, why you have on this pants? She said, oh, she had bleach or blow off part. I think she, it was some plastic, I don't know the regime, some plastic business, but is this a thing that they do? And it is ironically, I don't know if it happens in the high income brackets, but it happens in the low income brackets of society. I don't know if it is some psychology that, you know, probably they're already seen in a certain way in society. Them probably don't have the money to get where they really want to be. So if this is one thing I can control, so I feel confident about me, you know, if me making myself look lighter is something I can control and have a better self-presence about myself in life, then that's one thing I can control. I think that's it. So it all has to do with income brackets and classism.
This project really opened up my eyes to the complexities of Jamaican culture and the factors which strongly influence it. I believe that colorism is still one of the most stratifying factors of Jamaican society, but I would be remiss to end without noting the undoubted influence it had on class and the influence that class has on Jamaica.
I actually quote Kanye West's classism, which is a cousin of racism, which is the biggest thing for me, for me here in Jamaica. It's so much more classism, really, because yeah, that's a major thing too. Yeah.
Mental slavery. Whew.
I think she ended with the Bob Marley quote.
Jamaican people love, regardless of their positions on class and color biases in Jamaica. One thing is for certain. Whether living at home or abroad, Jamaican people love their country.
They do.
Well, basically, I can share with you and say, have you been to Jamaica? Basically, I would say Jamaica, to me, is the best. Yeah. Jamaica, to me, is the best. Like, when you there, you just feel different from you in the plane and you pass over Cuba and everybody start to sing. You know what I mean? Because that's it, you know. So Jamaica is good apart from the system that we had before with the whites and the black. And the whites and the black, it comes from the British system. And the British people,
right?
they are the one that caused that whole situation. They are the one that caused the slavery business down there too. So, you know what I mean? So that's it. But apart from that, Jamaica is okay. Just now we're having too much killing down there because of those tripping Indians they have down there now. But, you know, apart from that, you go to Jamaica, I love it when I go here. You know? So I still encourage you to go. Alright? Yeah.
Thank you.
That's that, bro. So that was a hard one. I ain't see that coming. Yeah. Because all the times you hear it's like it sounds like we just moving backwards. Without even really realizing it. And it's more blind to the people because they make it look good. They try to make it look cool. They try to make it look hip. You know what I'm saying? But I like to say this quote here. I think it's very, beneficial. It's to never carry the baggage of other people's opinions of you in your life, on your day-to-day. Because when you start to do that, that mental weight starts to make you make changes about yourself. Because you're starting to live your life based off how someone else thought of you and laughed at you or picked on you. And that kind of messes with a person's mental. Like she's put in the quote also, man, mental slavery is a real thing.
Yeah. Half of me is just shocked, because we had, the debates and there were girls. I don't remember if they even said their ethnicity. It was just black people.
I remember the video.
Yeah.
I remember the video.
So I don't think that they said their ethnicity. It was just all black people. And when they talked about the bleaching, it was one girl on there and everybody else was against it. And she didn't care what they had to say.
She had a business.
Yeah, she had a whole business.
I got to promote this business. I've been doing this for this long.
Yeah, it's just interesting to hear more about it.
Yeah.
Wish we would have heard someone who actually
was on that type of time.
Who actually did it, who could speak for themselves and give their perspectives. But that's a hard one. I just want people to love on yourself.
Yeah.
And when you have babies, especially girls, love on them, no matter the color of their skin. Like I told y'all before, when our daughter was born, like her skin was a different complexion from her body, and I was like, what? And now like when we're doing our bedtime ritual, she'll say brown skin girl. She sing the song with me.
Yeah.
I have it like a ritual because I want her to love her skin color.
No, facts.
And I want that to be so embedded in her to where nobody can tell her anything. They could say anything and it'll just
hit a wall.
Rub off.
It's like when water hits certain things and it don't get wet. That's how she gonna be built. Yeah, it's like resistance. Don't bother me none. What you talking about?
Exactly.
That's how you feel? Oh, okay. Do you? All right.
Exactly. And I love at the end that they said, I would still tell people to come visit because there's no better country than my own country. And, we talk about a lot of, we share our thoughts on a lot that goes on, in the United States. And we share things that we wish will get better. But at the end of the day, we still say that we love the United States.
Yeah, that's flaws.
Because this is home for us. This is where we're from,
Yep.
All right, y'all. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.